Yeah, I think we are live. Yep, we're good. We're good. Um, and still waiting for people to come into the room. We'll see. Just want to make sure I did start it. Yes, there we go. We've got people streaming in. Fantastic. We can get started. Kia ora tato. Welcome back to another Q&A here at Digital Boost. I'm Georgia Hatchis, your host, and I have to say I have the pleasure of bringing Leo Garcia-Curtis here today. He's the CEO of Zyber. If you don't know what Zyber is an e-commerce agency, I would say, right? Or like you build websites and design them in a way that you can get conversion for your views. And there's strategy involved. And one of the things that we're going to talk about today is zero party data and how to leverage that. So we're going to talk about first party, second party, third party data. I think explain it all. You're going to explain zero party data to us and then seeing how we can personalize the messaging so that you can make those sales. So welcome, Leo. It was so lovely to chat with you
So much.
beforehand. It's lovely to have you here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And it's an honor to be here. And hopefully, I can give your viewers some insight on zero party data. Sometimes sounds a little bit boring. So I want to kind of like make it exciting so that by the end of this, you're like, okay, I'm going to work on that. So that's my goal here today.
Well, before you do, I just want to let everybody know Leo gave me a list of topics that he could talk about. And I was like, this is one we're going to talk about because I just really wanted to know more about it and what it is. And I think that it's good for us all to learn. And so if you find it boring, that's my fault. I'll take it.
I'll make
And
sure it's not.
no, I know. And I want to let you all know as well, just some housekeeping stuff. If you have questions, please pop them into the Q&A here on Zoom. You can leave them in the comments on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching from. I will field those and we'll probably look at those in chunks. We're going to let Leo give the presentation and get if I don't ask your question right away when you've popped it in, we will ask it. So just hang tight. All right.
Mhm. Would you like me to start presenting?
Yeah, go for it. Take it away.
Okay. Let me get this right. And I will share my screen. I
Great.
just want to make sure you can see my slide.
I can.
Fantastic. Okay, we're on. So again, Georgia, thank you so much. And yeah, we're going to talk about zero-party data, personalized messaging that converts. Bit of a mouthful, but it is a good topic to understand. And then I'll also discuss of how you can utilize and use these tools going forward. So let's see if everything works for me. Yep, cool. So I am Leo, as Georgia said. I am the CEO for Zyber, and Zyber is an award-winning Shopify Plus agency, which means Shopify has vetted us and said, you know what, you guys are good enough to work with much larger brands, not just here in New Zealand, in APAC and globally, which is great because it keeps us all on our toes on the work that we do. So like you said, Georgia, we help these brands expand, globally. We help them sell more online. We help them with complicated integrations. And we put strategies in place to, you know, just help their brand be seen and good return on ROI, which hopefully most people that are here today, that's what they want to know more about, return on investment. Cool. So I like jiu-jitsu. This is why this picture's here. As you can see, I'm the one in the middle there that looks like the most fatigued out of everyone, probably because I'm a little bit out of shape, but that's okay. But the reason why I like jiu-jitsu, it reminds me a lot about business. You make a few bad calls on the mat and you're probably going to get strangled. And the same with business. You make a few bad calls in business and you might find yourself in a slightly, more complicated position where cash flow is a bit tighter and, you can't really figure out what you're trying to do or achieve your KPIs for the year. So I just want to share that. And I want to share a little kind of thought leadership story around jiu-jitsu, and hopefully you guys can relate to this a bit. That about 2 years ago, I hurt my shoulder in jiu-jitsu, and I went home and I told my wife, and I said, "Wife, I think there's something wrong with my shoulder." And my wife straight away goes, "You need to go see a specialist." So what does every good husband do? I kept going back to jiu-jitsu for 7 more months, completely destroying my shoulder until I couldn't pick up a jug of water to pour water into my cup. And then I went, I should go see a specialist, right? And so when I went to see the specialist, they said, we're going to do an MRI and we're going to do an X-ray just to see what's going on in your shoulder. So hopefully you guys are not freaked out by this. This is my X-ray. This is my collarbone. And so they said, hey, your collarbone's broken. It's not your shoulder. And I said, no, I can do this. Like, it can't be that. And they're like, huh. So what we found out is 20 years prior, playing another sport called rugby, I broke my collarbone. And because I had this mindset of she'll be right, I went and saw a physio once. The physio kind of did some things. And then I just worked through this pain and I thought this was normal. And, I carried on with life. Now, if I had stopped, invested time in myself, actually listened to what my body was telling me, I could probably fix this collarbone problem, which may have not led to this other shoulder problem later on that I had. But it made me wonder, could I have done, more weights? Could I have been like run faster? Could I have jumped higher if I didn't have these injuries? Not saying I'm an athlete, but I'm just saying it made me think about sometimes we got to stop and, focus on what something might be wrong and then transition. And what's happening in business, a lot of business owners are just going, she'll be right. I know sales are down, but she'll be right. Like, don't worry. In a couple of months, everything will return to normal. And so the answer is we cannot be thinking like that. So if you're like me and you open your Herald app in the mornings or you turn on the TV, you're blasted with all of this going on at the moment. Living costs are up, inflation is up, it's much harder to run a business, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what I do with my team, and I'm always telling business owners, you got to innovate, you got to pivot, you got to understand what your consumers want, what is their needs, what are your competitors doing just to stay ahead. So she'll be right attitude, throw that out the window, have a look at what's going on, and let's proceed. So now that I've given you all that doom stuff, let's get into what I know is happening behind the scenes. So brands are seeing a cost increase as well in the digital space. So they're saying it's about 5 times higher in spend to get the same amount of traffic to the website. And that is because the landscape is getting so competitive. If you remember back in the day on Facebook, you could throw like $100 at it and all these sales would come in. You're like, oh, this is too easy. Go again. That's changing. And we need to get a lot smarter where we're spending our money and actually understand how that money is being utilized, how many clicks you're getting, how many leads are you getting or conversions are you getting on the website. So that's really important as the space is getting more and more crowded. Another really interesting fact is 58% of companies still have no process to manage technical debt. What that means is people are using old technology, old websites, legacy platforms, really heavy, expensive platforms. They don't provide you the right data. It doesn't integrate with anything. It's just costly, right? And so what the issue is here is also if you are a general manager, a marketing manager, company owner, is you don't know what data to look at. And so you don't know where something might be falling over. And these platforms are hurting you. So again, a lot of companies are not looking at, hey, you know what? I can use some smarter technology. It's faster, it's cheaper, it's going to help me pivot. So keep that in mind. Cool. So we're going to talk about zero-party data. I'm going to talk about how we use that data to then segment and personalize our message, of course, because that's the title of this event, and how that helps conversion optimization, which then you can filter around and continue this beautiful loop to help your business. So zero-party data, what is it, Leo? You keep saying it, but you're not actually telling me. There's actually 4 types of data, and I don't want to bore you with the third and the second. I do want to concentrate more on the first and the zero. But in case you're sitting there going, man, I wish I knew all the difference of these data, I'll tell you very quickly. So third-party data is like aggregated data that Facebook collects from us and sells it to third parties, right? You don't even know it's happening, and it does. Second-party data is like Air New Zealand and MasterCard working together, knowing, like MasterCard knows how much you're spending on your credit card, and it tells Air New Zealand, hey, update the air points. All right, so there's just a little contract between those two, and they're using your data for that. First-party data, this is where it gets a little bit exciting, so let's get into this. First-party data is what the user is doing with your website, right? So we start seeing their browser behavior. So, what pages are they looking at? Where do they come from? Was it Facebook or was it from a link on YouTube? What products did they view? Did they add any of those products to your cart? Did they watch any videos on your website? And of course, did they make a purchase or did they just leave something in the shopping cart and then disappear? So this data is being collected like systems like Google Analytics, which you're allowed to go in and have a look. most users, well, savvy users now these days know that this, everything's being tracked on the website, but most people aren't sure that you can collect all this data, which is good for us business owners to make these decisions. Okay. Now, zero-party data, this is my favorite because zero-party data is data that we're asking the end user to give us, and they know they're handing it over, okay? So that means like, I want your email address. I need to know your phone number. Hey, when's your birthday? Because we know that we're going to do something special when your birthday comes around. Product feedback. Do you like my product? Do you not? Purchase intent. Is it for you or is it for your mum? Quick story here. I bought some candles for my mum. Then I got blasted about 15 emails about all these different candles. I didn't care. Like, but if they had asked if this is a gift for somebody else, their messaging could be completely different to me. And that's part of what we're going to be talking about. Demographic information. What city are you in, right? There's a whole lot of stuff that we can do there. What are you interested in, Leah? What are your hobbies? The more we know about you, the more tailored our message can get. And then communication preferences. So once I sign up to, let's say, a newsletter, if I'm asked, I can actually, choose that I want to receive information on the product that I just bought or everything that you guys have in your catalog. So these are good questions to ask and get back. So zero-party data gets straight to the point. We know exactly what the person wants. And the more of this data that we have, the more exciting it gets on what I'm going to show you next. Okay, I love this quote. Just want to read it out to you. Zero-party data allows us to shift our messaging from a limited one-way blast to a more neutral two-way conversation. And like, quick story, I like telling stories, you can tell by now. I had a hardware store. It's a very big franchise hardware store. And the other day, and they said to me, you know what, we just did an email of like 300,000 people plus, all about our special for gardening tools. And I said, wow, that's cool. What if I don't like gardening? And there was just this silence in the room. And suddenly they realized, oh, we don't even segment our database. And that's the importance. You just don't want to throw this one-way blast when people are just not interested in that part of your catalog. Cool. Now, here's some good news. 64% of people, consumers, actually want content that relates to them and is served up to them with what they're looking for. So don't be afraid to ask questions to receive that zero-party data is what I'm saying here. Okay, so what does it look like? Let's just go through a little scenario. You've done all the hard work in your marketing. You've made some beautiful ads in social media. I see it. I click on your ad. I land on your website. Now you ask me some questions. I'm more than happy to tell you. 64% will tell you. I'll tell you what I'm looking for, which then you recommend some products. Excellent. All of this is being saved as zero-party data. And with that information, we can personalize our flows. Did Leo answer those questions and check out? Great. We might have some other products we could recommend to him. Did Leo answer those questions? Look at the products, add it to cart, didn't check out? You can send some different emails or text messaging to try and get him back. So this is where it starts getting a lot of fun with zero-party data and segmentation. So the next bit I'm going to show you is some techniques of how to grab zero-party data, and then we'll talk about the segmentation. Okay. Good, George. One of our companies that we work with, you guys probably seen these guys, liquor stores, supermarkets, everywhere. First thing we do with them is a pop-up. So once you visit their website, you scroll a little bit down and you've been there for about 10 seconds. We'll do a little pop-up and we try and make it fun. So like, hey, first round on us. Well, actually 10% of it. But we'll give you 10% off. Give us your email and your first name. Crucial, right? This starts the relationship. So, okay, cool. I will do that. Now we take it a step further. As soon as they submit that button, pop-up continues. It goes, hey, tell us about your taste. What are you into? So do you want some more beer? Do you want, cider? Do you into gin and vodka, cocktails? Maybe you like it all. And depending on which one they choose, zero-party data being collected, we will then segment the message and promotions on the website going forward. So what I mean by that is if I select beer, when I add something to the cart, we're actually going to do a promotion about, hey, we've got some other beer for you that you might be interested at a slightly discounted price. Or we can bundle it up. I know you're buying a six-pack, but hey, if you buy 2 more six-packs, we'll give you a really good discount price. But we're not going to bring in, gins and vodkas and cocktails yet because they haven't showed interest in that. So that's how we start to segment. Do you like that one, Georgia? Saw your face.
I'm just kind of a little blown away by that. And so my question then would be, if they, all right, so they put in, you've segmented them into what they like, right? So let's say it's cider.
Mhm.
Oh, we love cider. And then once they go into their shopping cart, you'll say, oh, you might also like these things. When they come back and visit later, will it hold that information for that particular customer? I
So
guess
if
if
the
they
browser
log in.
knows, yeah, that's one way. If you log in, we absolutely do. If the browser knows who you are, with cookies and all those kind of things, then that information can stay there. There is a time limit where that cookie could be wiped, and then we don't know. But again, if you do log in, now we know. So there's ways.
Yeah, I'm loving this, and I'm loving you explaining how like, it's just the zero party data that for me as a consumer, for example, I don't feel like I'm being taken advantage of. I
Right.
feel like I'm being
Yeah.
taken care of instead.
Well, that's the messaging, and that's what we're trying to do. You want to build this beautiful relationship, and that you become an advocate for that brand, and you're just like, oh, I love everything they do, and they look after me because you've personalized that message. But you're getting to the end part, so we got to
Sorry,
wait.
no,
So hold on. All
no.
right, cool. So yeah, okay, pop-ups. Pop-ups. Now, pop-ups, we use Klaviyo. Now, Klaviyo is an email marketing SMS software, but it's much more than that. But I just want to keep it kind of simple today. And so the pop-up can be used for that. I fill in this information, and behind the scenes, which I'll show you in a few slides, we can create a flow of different types of emails or a text message to go out depending on what the user has done on the site. Okay, cool. So that's Klaviyo. Next, Okendo quizzes. Okendo does a lot more, but I'll just talk about quizzes just here. So great way, zero party data, ask them questions. So in this example here is, what's your go-to for workout? So is it yoga? Is it running? Is it just any type of physical sport? Or is it more like being at the gym? And there'll be more than just these questions. There might be 5 questions that you ask. And then depending again on that, you would have behind the scenes saying, if someone's ticked these boxes, display these products. Right, so we could do it manually behind the scenes where we add all these rules. There's also AI now being involved where it just knows, like, okay, they've said yes to this type of sport. This is the shoe that I recommend to them. And so in this example, it's just shoes, but this could be anything: skincare products, clothing size. Does this match? Does this dress match with this? Like, you can go anywhere with quizzes to help a user find the right product. As I mentioned before, Okendo does a lot more. So it does reviews, surveys, referrals, quizzes, and loyalty. All of it can collect zero-party data for you to choose which way you want to go with messaging. So I just want to quickly say that about Okendo. By the way, if I hadn't said it at the start, I'm pretty biased because we work solely on the Shopify platform. Some of these apps I'm showing you are just for Shopify, but some of these apps also work on BigCommerce, Magento. So if you're on another system, these apps hopefully will work on what you are using. Gorgias. Okay, so Gorgias is a help desk software. They say they offer retention-worthy support with AI for your customer service solutions. Like, pretty bang on. And what I'm showing you here is live chat. Now you can have a staff member doing the live chat, or if you like to keep costs down and automate stuff, you have AI asking specific questions. And when I answer those, you'll capture that zero-party data. So someone might say, hey, I'm looking for a type of shoes. The AI may already know to say, hey, what color do you like? What size are you? And it starts to segment that person and display products that they might be interested in as well. But also all of that is being captured for you to use later on with your messaging. So another great tool. And I'm just throwing out ideas so people know how they can capture the stuff. Cool. I'm a visual person. I love shoppable videos. This is video wise, very, very up and coming. Now, what you can see here on my screen is you're seeing that, first of all, there's a button where I can add the product straight away into my cart from watching this video. I can do a multiple choice. Hey, we're getting zero-party data. I can actually type in my details while watching this video. So it can be used in so many ways. Video-wise can be put onto your homepage. It can be put into the part of the product page. You can actually give the code, and your partners or anybody that you might be working with can actually embed this video on their website as well, which will be promoting your product. So very cool. What else was I going to say about them? yeah, it's just a great way. And it's like a TikTok experience. That's what I was going to say. So you can have this on your product page, and you might have about 5 or 6 videos of the same product. And so while I'm looking, how we used to just look at images, now it's more like looking at a video, and I can swipe up and look at another video of the same product to get a really good taste for it and go, okay, I want to buy this. So shoppable videos can also get zero-party data. Cool. Maybe I'll stop there. That was what zero-party data is and ways to capture it.
Yeah, there's a
Are there any
question.
questions?
Yeah, there's a question
Okay.
that popped up. I think it was about the pop-up earlier when we were looking at Good George. Can you please talk
Mhm.
about why the pop-up comes up as you scroll down the page rather than straight away?
Okay. So we do that for a few things. When I land on a website, I kind of want you to take a second or two to read maybe the homepage hero image of exactly what that brand does. And once you intake that, you're now starting your shopping experience and you're starting to look around, and then we may get you with this pop-up. Think about it, if you walked into a store, so let's just say Barker's. I walk straight into Barker's. Before I even step foot, if the customer service guy is in my face and goes, "Hey, how are you today? Are you looking for something?" I'll just be like, "Whew, too much." That's why we don't do the pop-up right away. Let them settle in. They might already go to a different page, which means we might have different pop-ups on different pages. Okay. And so that's why we wait.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I know that feeling of going onto a website and first you're like, no, I just I wanted to see that first image and then pop up right in your face that's a very good way of putting it. Another question we have is how many zero party questions do you think is an optimal amount to ask in one go? I found that asking too many can result in less people answering.
That is correct. And I think you need to know your audience. And it
Mm.
depends on your industry and the service and everything you provide. But I will say that if you can get 3 and maximum 5, you're doing really well. And again, it just depends where in the sales cycle they are. If this is the beginning, maybe 3. But if you know this is, and we'll talk about people that have bought from you many times, maybe they're what we call a high roller, or you can go further because they're so invested in your brand now. But are they there yet?
Awesome. Thank you. I think that's all. I'm
All
just
right.
scrolling through Facebook and stuff. Nope, we're good.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so we've captured the data, we've used some really cool tools, and now we need to start thinking, well, how do I present that back to people? And that's what this section's going to be. What does that look like? So I know I say I like telling stories, I'll tell one more. Segmentation can go wrong. Okay, so this email is to a colleague here at Zyber, David Visser, who for some reason, well, I shouldn't say for some reason, it's fine for men to love skincare products. And he loves it to a whole other level where he showed me at home his collection, and his wife next to me said, it's bigger than my collection of skincare products, right? So he's into it. He's into it, and great, good for him. Here's the thing. He got an email from Sephora, very large brand, saying, hey, we've got some new lipstick. Maybe you should try it. And so he's sitting there going, I've never viewed that product on your website. I've never bought that product on your website. Why am I getting this? And he realized, oh, they don't do segmentation at all. So we're back to blasting that information, which might deter future customers away. So make sure you know your audience and make sure you know how to segment. And that's what we're going to get into.
I have a real quick question for you.
Cool. Yeah,
So let's say you've already got your email, database and you haven't segmented and you haven't asked the questions to the people who are already in there. How can you then go back and get those questions so that you can segment, you know, post them already signing up?
absolutely. Absolutely. So let's say, yeah, like you said, you've already got this database, but you've never actually thought about this. So I would start with some warm-up emails and be like, hey, thank you so much. I know you signed up a while ago. We're trying to get to know you a little bit better. What is it that you're really interested about us? And then have those options, use the quiz. And then as they tick those things and that data starts coming back, then sit down, look at that data and decide, right, this is how we're going to segment. Now we're going to do different flows for the people that have said yes to this, no to that. So it's just having a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that easy. I know. It's sometimes hard. We don't think about that in business. We're like, oh, I've already got them. I've already captured these people. And you're like, no,
Right.
continue having that conversation. That's really great. Thank you, Leo.
No, no
Mm.
problem. No problem. Okay, so there's a lot in this slide. So I just want to break it down into chunks. So this is a slide from Clavio, talking about how you can segment. And there's so many ways you can segment your audience, but in this one, we're sort of segmenting them Number four, from not spending at all with you, they're waiting for the wow. We call them window shoppers. So, we've all done this, walk past and go, oh, that looks great. Don't know about that price. I'll come back later. All the way to high rollers. So these are people that love your brand and will buy from you. So this is one way to segment. So the waiting for the wow, we kind of know that they haven't bought from you yet, but if we give them a discount or a coupon, we might get them on board, which is think about the type of messaging then that we might want to say to them. Brand enthusiast is someone who has shopped from you, but the average order value is lower than what your normal average order value is, right? So they're not buying all the cool stuff, they're buying the smaller stuff. And we're trying to get them up there, but they're not there yet. So you got to think about what that relationship looks like. What is the messaging? How do we get them to be a number two? And number two is a potential high roller. They're showing interest. They're buying. They buy every 60 days from you. They're exceeding that average order value. And these ones, you can send more zero-party data questions to really get to understand them, to bring them over to what we call the high rollers. Now, the high rollers, they completely exceed the AOV. They're constantly engaging with your brand. They're opening all your emails. They're talking to you about any zero-party data that you want, but you're also making them feel very, very special because you might send them emails only to them. You might do things where you send them a text message saying, hey, we're going to keep the shop open for an hour after closing time for you to come in and trial some stuff that no one else has access to. Right. So that's when you get to that segmentation, you can start thinking about all these cool, creative ways of how you're going to interact with these customers. So if that made sense, if we understand this segment, I'm going to show you this timeline now. Now, this is an omni-channel experience. People come from everywhere to interact with your website. And I just want to go through this timeline and how we have segmentation right that helps to convert more people. So the T stands for a touch point. So the very first touch point is they've seen your awesome creative ads on social media. When they finally decide to click on one, they land on the website. We're gathering first-party data. They looked at some pages. They looked at a product. Maybe we did a pop-up, but they didn't answer it. It's okay. We'll continue that relationship. Number three, the touch 3 point is maybe we do a quiz, and they actually answered the quiz. That's good news. So that means then we send an email because we know a little bit about them. We said, hey, we recommend these products because you told us you've got dry skin, blah, 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 and you need this, which then they click on that email to come back to the website. So that's good again. Now they're back on the website. We know a little bit about them, a little bit more. So when I land on the website, guess what? I've got dry skin products already showing up on the homepage. It's a little bit different from what you saw before because I start to know a little bit more about you. Now they're adding stuff to the cart. They're about to check out. We're about to make some money, and they left us. It happens. It's okay. So now we're going to send them a text message. And Georgia, I don't want to put you on the spot, but maybe I will. If this was a high roller, would I send a text message with a discount coupon code?
I would say no.
Oh, I like it. If this was a window shopper, would I send them a text message with a coupon code for 25% off?
Absolutely.
There you go. So depending on who they are, if we've got segmentation in place, with a window shopper, I'll be like, hey, we noticed you left something in the cart. I know you never bought from us. I want to give you a one-off 25% off voucher, valid for 24 hours. Go nuts, right? And once we get them in, hopefully we move them up. But if it's a high roller, I'll be like, hey, this product is going to be here for about 24 hours and then it's gone. I'll hold it for you because you're awesome. Do you even want to come into the store and see it yourself? I'll hold it. I'll wait back, stay till you come through, or tell us which one you're going to see, which shop you're going to see in Auckland or in the country. And that's a completely different message. So those touch points are so important when we have segmentation. And I'm repeating myself, segmentation in place of what we can actually say.
Yeah. And it's funny because for me, I feel like you're speaking, when I'm thinking about it as a business person, I'm speaking to myself. Like, I know that if I haven't bought from someplace, if they give me a discount, I'm like, you're so cute. Thanks. Yeah, let's go on that date. Where if I'm already a high roller and I'm already buying from them and they're coming back and they're like, you know what, this isn't going to last. And you're like, I know this is a great product. I'm just going to go for it. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah.
So we all suffer from the FOMO, fear of missing out. Like we want to, but you can be quite cheeky these days. So you can say like, we notice you haven't come back. Like we know what's wrong. Is it us? Like, can we do something? And so here's a promo. So you can have these conversations and collect this data where they might say, hey, I'm actually away for 3 months, and when I'm back, like, I love you guys. So like, yeah, there's so many different ways you can have this communication. It just comes down to your brand and your messaging and your tone and how is it that you speak to your audience. So cool. Okay, so that's the timeline. Next, what do we got? So brands are seeing a 50% increase in average order value when segmentation and personalization is in play. I will take 50% increase on AOV all day, every day, because every dollar counts, right? We've done all this hard work at the top of the funnel to get people in. So I want to make sure that we're increasing that AOV. Okay, we're going to get a little technical, so hopefully this is okay. Hopefully you can see this. It might be a little bit small, but this is what we call a flow inside Klaviyo. And Klaviyo is that email SMS software, and it's much more than that. So I'm just letting you know. So at the top, we have a trigger, and we say the person has placed an order, wait a day. And then we say, if they've only done one order only, just send this message. But if they've done more than one order and it's around 3 orders, give them a slightly different message. And the message here says, hey, you're part of the family now. Like, we know you've bought from us 3 times. Like, hey. And then it goes through a whole other sequence of what other messaging you can send them. And then there's also another rule here saying if they've spent over $500 already with all the orders in total, like send them a completely different message. And this one says, you're part of the inner circle. Here's some other discounts for you, which is nice. They're doing discounts. Maybe I wouldn't do it that way. But anyway, this is just a template flow. And so the beauty of this is it's automation. You set this up once and it's in there forever, right? There'll always be window shoppers coming through and there'll always be people upgrading to high rollers. But when you have these flows in place, it just takes care of itself. You don't have to go back and make changes. You might want to go back and change some, images and stuff and all that. But you just leave that there and you just let it do its thing. And that's how awesome it is to have software like Klaviyo. Did that make sense? Yeah, cool. All right. So here's another tool, Rebuy. Rebuy, they call themselves like the AI-powered shopping experience. It's the ultimate e-commerce personalization platform. They do so much intelligence personalization, which I'll go into in a little bit, product recommendation, a lot of split test, A/B split test. I do that a bit with pricing. Also, yeah, I'll get into it because there's so much. But so with Rebuy, if we know who's looked at what, if we know that someone likes this product and it's been added to the cart, we can make rules say, hey, they've added this product to the cart. Why don't you say, to complete the look, here's something else that you should also, add to the cart, and make it really easy. There's just one click of a button and now it's been added to the cart, which increases that AOV. So yeah, Rebuy is a fantastic tool. So I want to show you a little bit of behind the scenes of a very simple rule just to start personalizing something. So if you can see this image, it says if we have the customer's details in the title of the homepage, I want to bring in, and there's just options that you click. I want to bring in their name. So it looks a bit like this. So it goes top picks for Aaron. Very simple. This is a like 101, the most simple rule I can give you. We can go a lot deeper than this, right? But we may also know that Aaron's been looking at certain products. And so we say, I want you to display these products going forward. Aaron always buys black clothes. Like, just show everything that we have tagged as black clothing. Yep, there you go. Yeah. So it's that type of personalization that we can do with Rebuy, which is awesome. I'll show you one more. This one is if city name equals, let's say Wellington. Kia ora to everyone from Wellington. And it's between these dates, like show these products on the homepage. Maybe there's like an event on or something, right? And you sell that product for that event. So you know that when everyone comes to your website, they're just looking for that. So just give it to them, right? So yeah, it gets far more than this, but I just want to keep it top level of all the cool things that you can personalize by using something like Rebuy. Again, so just showing you this visual here, Rebuy can do things where it's like checkout cross-sell, which I kind of mentioned. You add something else to the cart for them. You can see here, gift with purchase, meaning if they spend over a certain amount, you can give them a gift. But if we're personalizing things and we're segmenting things, that gift can be completely different. So maybe it's a man product if we know they're a man, woman product if we know they're a woman. dynamic bundles. If we know that Leo loves beer because he said yes to Good George on that, well, we're going to actually say, hey, we know you've added this stuff to the cart, but you can bundle it up with other beer and we'll give you a discount. So again, segmenting and personalizing. So yeah, really cool tool for what we're trying to do. So that brings us around now to, we've learned what zero-party data is. We know how to grab it. We know what tools we need to use to try and make it personalized and send messaging out to the people at the right time through their buyer experience, which comes to conversion rate optimization. Hopefully, if you're doing all that right, you're seeing an increase in your conversion rate optimization. And this is a chance where you can sit back, look at the data, and say to yourself, okay, have we done this right? Do we need to add more questions at the start, or do we need to add more questions when we have like a high roller? Because then we might have some other products we want to put in front of them. You may find out where people are dropping off. Maybe they never get to buy the second or third product because the messaging wasn't right. We make some tweaks there. Split testing. So A/B split testing, like I mentioned before, sometimes we do pricing. So if you're part of Group A, you might see the same product slightly discounted. And if you come back, you'll always see the same price. And if you're part of Group B, you might see the price a little bit higher. And then we make a call like, hey, you know what? Sales didn't drop off when you increased it by $5, $10, $20, you name it. Every client's different. And this helps us just to understand where they are positioned in the market, the value that people see in that product, and it all helps with ROI. So this is all part of conversion rate optimization. And it starts by just do one test. And then as you get better at it, then now you know to segment a little bit more and ask a few other questions. So I don't want you to go and then go crazy. Just start slowly and start seeing the patterns of what's working and then making those decisions. Oh, we're getting to the end, folks. So why have I got a picture of a sticky pudding? Really, what I've said before, you've done all the hard work at the start to get people to your website. So think about, how can I be sticky when someone lands on the site? How can I give them some value if they give me zero-party data? Is it a promo code? Is it come to a VIP event? What is it I can do? And then how do I continue this relationship? How do I just stay engaging with my audience? So if there's anything you take away from today, is be sticky. Cool. And I think I mentioned this before. What we're doing is we're changing clicks into relationships. So have that thought. And as I mentioned before, forget that mindset of she'll be right, because as you can see in this case study, she was not right at all. And so, yeah, if you could start investing some time now into how do I get zero-party data, how do I utilize it, you're going to be in a far better place than a lot of other businesses by the end of this year. That's me.
That's amazing. That was great. I loved this journey you took us on, especially from collarbone to collarbone. It's brilliant messaging there. But also this idea that changing clicks to relationships. That last slide that you had, that really hit home. My question to you, and I'll wait for any of you that have questions, please pop them in. Please join this conversation. Leo and I could probably talk for hours, which we won't because we're busy and we have things to do. But my question for you is, let's say this is all new to you. Let's say I have an e-commerce site. This is blowing my mind. And I'm like, oh, I can leverage all of this. This is amazing. From start to finish, to get to this point of conversion, how much time do you think I'd have to put into it? How long should I wait to see the changes happen? Is it just different for everyone, or what would you say?
Yeah, it's different for everybody. It's a journey for all of us in different ways. But you think about Air New Zealand, they could do a split test campaign, and the volume of people that come to that website, they've got enough data point in half an hour to go increase the price or decrease the price. I usually see it go. Anyway.
It goes up.
It goes up. But if you're someone that's starting off and you're getting 10, 20, 30 people a month or a week, you might want slightly bigger data pool to then go, okay, I'm going to make a decision now of what I need to do.
Yeah, cool. We've got a question here that's come in. How do you advise businesses with very small budgets to keep track of their A/B testing?
use tools like Rebuy. There's others, of course,
Mhm.
and make sure you understand it, right? Because if you've got a low budget, that probably means you've got time. Usually, I'm not saying that's always the case. So get your head around it, learn how to use it in the tool that you've selected, and then look at that data after you think you've received enough to make a decision that, okay, I should increase my price or I should lower my price.
Awesome. Just having another look around while waiting for you guys to ask any questions you might have. No. All right. Well, oh, no, we do have another one. How do you deal with changing preferences? When you collect the zero-party data, it is point in time, but may shift. Do you only trust for a certain amount of time?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's something that you would have to decide. Okay, that's outdated now. We need to go back and start that conversation again. Um, and yeah, there's some AI sometimes that could help you in what that data might mean now, but a lot of it is just start that communication again. Yeah, it's a good question.
That's a great question. There's some really good questions coming in. Um, and let me just have another quick look see around our socials. I don't see anything else. But I do want to say that this for me was very informative. I was really, I don't care about anyone else. This was informative for me. No, obviously, if I care, then our businesses are definitely going to care. And I do want to thank you so much for taking the time, Leo, because I know you're very busy. Having CEO next to your name means you don't have a lot of time. But also, this is amazing. If people want to get in touch, if there are questions that come up, there will be people watching the recording after who couldn't make it live. So if people have questions that come up, support@zyber.co.nz. Is that good?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're already on Shopify and you've got questions, absolutely. If you love the sound of Klaviyo or Rebuy and you want to know more about that, let us know. If you believe something I said at the start, you are one of those companies on a legacy platform, and you're just absolutely hating it that you cannot see the data, or every time you want to make a change, you've got an agency charging you an arm and a leg. That's the beauty of Shopify. The power is back on you. It's your platform. I mean, Shopify owns it, but like you're not tied to an agency, is what we say. And if you're thinking about that, talk to us. If you're in the B2B space and you want to do some more like business to business online transactions, also come talk to us. So yeah, we've got ways of helping people increase and grow already on Shopify, and we've got ways to help people come over to Shopify. And we can just work on, like, let's say that Klaviyo platform. If you need help with emails, flows, you name it, segmentation. So we can find ways to help merchants succeed in that way as well.
That's amazing. Thank you. We've got a little comment here. Great session. Thanks, Georgia and Leo. Good, quick explanation with strong examples. We aim to please. Thank you. But and here's the thing, everyone, anyone who's listening or watching the recording, if you want information, more information, if there are questions that you have about certain things, I'm happy to try and drag Leo back in for another event later in the year and see if there are questions that he can ask for you. If there's a certain topic around your e-commerce website that you'd really like to know more about, again, reach out to us at support@digitalboost.co.nz. It'll come out of my mouth at some point. Or as Leo said, you can reach out to them at Zyber. I really love having all of you show up for these events, and I really love the great experts that we get in here. Leo, this was fantastic. Thank you again for
Awesome.
sharing your time and your mahi, your expertise with us. It's a pleasure. I just love chatting with you.
Uh, Likewise. And my next presentation, if I do one, I won't bring up broken collarbones or injuries I've had through jiu-jitsu. So
I love it.
unless
I
you
love
really
all.
want to see what else I've done, but
I
yeah,
know.
there's
Let's
been
see
ankles, there's
what
been
else.
knees. Oh
It's all
yeah, no.
good.
I spent 3 months. I spent 3 months in a sling for that shoulder story that I told you guys, and my wife every day was like, "I told you so."
No,
So
when you were
yeah.
telling that story, I was in the mind of your wife, and I was like, mm-hmm, I know. I know what I'd
Hmm.
say to my husband. Same thing.
Yeah,
Those Kiwi
she's right.
boys, she'll be right.
Yeah. Since this is recorded, I'm going to say she's right 100% of the time. There you go. Then I can show her this, and I'll get some brownie points. All right.
Yay! Well, have a lovely day, everyone. Thank you, Leo. And we'll talk soon. Matewa, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.